Hello guys, how's it going? Screezilla here, I hope you're all well. So let me tell you a scenario. You're playing Japanese 6.3 because for some reason you want to grind up the STA2. I don't know why either, but you're a masochist. You get killed very early in the game because, well, the tank absolutely sucks. So, the only thing you've got available to you is this. The Soki. The Type 95 Soki. This actually didn't exist, interestingly enough. Well, it did exist, but it didn't in this platform, technically. This was a prototype. The actual true Soki was actually a half-track based off of an Isuzu truck and had the same guns on it. For some reason, we don't have that in-game. Would be kind of cool to have the truck in there, because, well, we all love trucks. They're fun. So instead we get this, a little train. Yes, that's right, you heard me correct. This is actually a train. The Type 95 Soki was an armoured railroad car, used by the Imperial Japanese Army for patrolling and guarding railway lines in Manchuria and Burma. The chassis was based off the Type 95 Hargo, the light tank, which is a pretty terrible vehicle in itself, which is kind of similar to the... It's sort of got that old worldy Renault feel to it, Renault FT5 feel to it. So this was a prototype designed. There was actually a prior prototype, which was the Tarse, which we all know, which has a single 20mm anti-aircraft gun on board. So I managed to get a kill on a plane, which is great. I got very lucky there, because this thing has bugger all armour on it. Somehow managed to kill a plane, and I think, okay, well, maybe I can do something in this game. Because War Thunder's been suffering a lot lately from American players and British players rushing the spawn, rushing the caps, sorry, and basically getting lots of points. I did not know that Charity was there. That's interesting. Somehow he didn't shoot at me. He was obviously not paying attention. That is amazing. Wow. So anyway, it's a big problem, and it's really making ground forces a chore to play. How did that charioteer not see me? How did I not see it, first of all? But how did it not see me? Bloody hell. Just amazing. So there's a Carnarvon down there. I'm not really going to do much with my AA guns, but I can try and spot him. So as you can see, the 20 mils on this thing are pretty terrible. My gun has just been knocked out. I'm actually using the anti-aircraft gun, the high explosive shells here as well, the high explosive incendiaries. So they've only got about 2mm of penetration, so all I can do is spot, really. Back to the history. So the Type 98 20mm anti-air gun tank, the Soki Type 2, they were combined with the chassis of the Type 98 Kane, which again, we've got in game. I think it's another terrible, terrible tank. Very slow, very terrible chassis. Had the twin 20mm guns put on it. Basically, they put a big steel plate over the drivers, well, over the gun turret, as you can see, and then slapped a 20mm on board. Or a pair of 20mm, actually. And that was it. That was the anti-air gun. There are much more interesting Japanese anti-aircraft guns out there, but as I said, sadly we've got what we've got, and they're all pretty terrible. For some reason, the Japanese AA guns are some of the worst until you get to the Duster and onwards. Now, I just spotted that, I think it was a Walker Bulldog down there, and the BF 101, 110, sorry, takes him out beautifully. So, very happy with that. Getting support, which is always nice. One of the reasons this thing is terrible is it has a really low ammo load to it. You have bugger all ammunition. You also have a very slow moving turret. The gun tracking is pretty awful, and the velocity of the rounds are pretty average. In all, this is one of my least favourite anti-aircraft guns. So do a few more spots on that Carnarvon and then try and run away. I get a stroke of luck here. Somehow, I bounce around. Yeah, that's impressive in a Soki. I think that deserves a an award. I think that should be an achievement. So yeah, so the actual Soki was actually a train. As I say, it was used on railways, and this chassis is what that's based off of as well. We've got a P-51 coming in here, so trying to track it as best I can. Do a few terrible shots. I'm not great with AAA in all honesty. I'm trying to improve, but I don't have the worst performance in this game. But as you see, the gun is so slow, it's very hard to get things on target. Now I switch to the aiming view here, because he's going to come and strafe me possibly. Nope, but I do get a good hit on him. Managed to cause some form of damage. There's also a Tempest. Oh, great, got him. So I managed to take him out. So there's now a Tempest coming in, and this one could be a problem. Again, try and swing the gun around as fast as possible, but it really does not want to move, this thing. Now, he's not going to be able to dive on me in this position, so we're safe. So the Soki, around about 130 of these were made, these vehicles, and they actually had two sets of drive wheels, interestingly enough. They had a set on the inside. Now, it's not modelled on the game here, but they had separate set of drive wheels on the underside here that were railway wheels. So this train could be used on tracks, and it often was. And the idea for the anti-aircraft variant was for that use. It was going to be an armoured anti-aircraft for railways. And I've got no depression here, so luckily he pulls up a little bit. I'm reloading, but he is gone. Dunzo. That is 3 planes down with 1 assist, so almost 4 planes. I count assists as half kills. So we're doing well in the Soki so far, amazingly well. Now, as you can see, it's a hand-cranked turret on this one, with a very low gear ratio, so as I say, it is very slow. The actual tank itself is pretty slow too. Luckily, you do have 3 crew members. Let's just switch to the other camera. We have the driver, commander, and gunner. So there's not much, but you do have a few. You also have your ammo rack here, so we did get hit in the ammo rack by the looks of it. Some of the ammo did get hit but did not detonate, so we are in luck there. So we're just patrolling around now. Now, as you can see, I've got mine painted up in this lovely Polish camouflage to make it stand out as much as possible, because I hate playing this thing because it's awful and I just want to die quickly. So I hope that planes can spot me and kill me quickly, so my suffering does not last too long. Anyway, let's go for a bit of a run around. Go for a jaunty trip. So as I say, the Soki actually didn't come into production. The Kohai did, though. It was a half-track, as I say, made by Isuzu. It had a relatively good gun on it as well. Same gun, really, but it had a good range of 5,500 metres with an altitude of 3,500 metres, and could fire up to 300 rounds per minute. It had a slightly larger gun capacity on it. I think it had a bigger ammunition rack on there. Whereas this one, as you can see, it's almost like a Bren gun. You've got the 2 ammunition packs there, which you pull out, chuck a new one in, crank it up, load it up, and then go for it, and then you've got about 30 odd shots. I ate I-185 there. Ooh. Now, I actually thought I spotted an enemy here. Let's just switch to the free view for one moment. As you can see, there's a dead tank here. But all I can see is this front track. And I go, ooh, okay, somebody's sitting in that bush. Time to run away. So this I-185 is coming around. So we're going to scooch around here and we're going to try and catch him, hopefully on a turn. But it's going to be a tricky shot because we are moving, and this thing does not aim very well. So we're spinning around. Oh, there it is. Okay, he's coming straight for us. Beautiful shot there. Got the luckiest shot in a row there, and the 4th kill in a row as well. Do not know how I did that. That was a very lucky one. I will say it's skill. But yeah, so the Kohai was a much more interesting vehicle. Again, it was experimental, but that doesn't seem to bother Gaijin, because all the Japanese tanks pretty much were experimental. There wasn't much out there. So yeah, as I say, it would be nice to have a more interesting anti-aircraft vehicle rather than these very lackadaisical ones we've got. Also, the fact there's very little variation. One of the big problems is at 6.3, this is your ultimate aircraft destroyer. Until you get to 6.7 and you get the Duster, you don't have anything you can fight with. So you are pretty much buggered. But it is a vast improvement over the Tarsay. Yeah, let's not talk about that one. So, overall, this vehicle is not one of the best, but it does do its job. If you get the aiming right, you want to basically get people quite close. The good thing is that rounds tend to have a very little drop rate, so they're quite accurate if you get them in the right spot. We've got an IL-2 here that's going around. The only issue is, of course, is getting the aiming correct, because you have such a slow turn rate of your gun. It's very hard to aim. So, another thing I wanted to talk about was what I was talking about at the start, and that's the increased air power in ground lately. It's been a really big issue. Okay, the IL-2's coming in here. This is not going to be good. He's doing some dives, and I've run out of ammunition. I'm doing a reload. Managed to get a few good hits there. Try and turn around to get a few more shots on this guy. Get a couple of good hits, and he's taken out. Unfortunately, by the B7A2, I think it was. Yes. So, half a kill. So, 2 half kills with 4 kills. I'm calling it an ace. A petty ace. Yeah, well, let's go with a petty ace. Because it's almost an ace. I count assists as half kills at least. But what I was saying is, it's a real big problem with ground at the moment, is it's not very fun because, well, especially if you're playing German or Japanese, there's not many ground attackers you have. You have things like the Duck, but it's nothing when you compare it to things like the Wyvern, with its thousands of rockets. It really makes a big difference. Bombs do have an effect, but they're not as effective as they could be. Rockets are very much the thing to use these days, and every game you play is, you'll just see the American team cap, 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 and then J out, J out, J out, and then you'll get a load of planes, and there's not much you can do with it. Of course, you could start in a AAA vehicle, but it does hinder you slightly. It's a very sticky situation. I think what Gaijin need to do is make a time limit for planes to start the game. Maybe have it so, you know, there's 5 minutes before planes can be brought into the game. Have higher spawn costs for planes. Because at the moment, if you cap a zone, you can spawn in a plane, which is very unfair for a lot of nations. So bringing something like that may help. Even a mode where you could just have no planes in it and just have tanks. I think a lot of people would enjoy that, because many people are over this whole planes thing. because it kind of ruins the whole game. It is fun, but at the same time, when you're just facing planes all day and tanks, what's the point? You might as well just play realistic. Okay guys, well this video is wrapping up very shortly, so I hope you enjoyed the video. And I will get back to you shortly. This is Screezilla, and have a lovely day. See you guys. Bye bye.